Hey, Bunny Foster over here, and I am here to jump scare you with another original video once again and to tell you that the title is clickbait, but at the same time, not really. Because this time, Idol Corp is merging with Brave Group, and I can't say that I didn't expect it. I can't say that a lot of us did not expect this. Now, first things first, Brave Group, from the outside looking in, is making good decisions. They seem to have a really good relationship with a lot of other VTuber companies like VShojo. They seem to give their VTubers a lot of money to do their projects, such as A3D, among other things. Because, brother, if a staff member, if a staff member from V4 Mirai is getting their own 3D, then I think that's telltale of the sheer amount of resources that they have. I mean, it's Grave Group. They have a shit ton of VTuber agencies under their portfolio, and they're basically doing the same thing Nijisanji is doing, where they're basically collecting VTuber agencies like Pokemon cards, but instead of VTubers, unlike Nijisanji that's doing that with VTubers, they're doing it with corpos. But there is a difference that Brave Group actually does seem to care about their overseas operations. Their PR pouring resources overseas instead of giving them jack shit and expecting them to do everything. I mean, they had one yab where their auditionees' private information got leaked because a staff member forgot to set things to private. But aside from that, their only real drama was over 5 years ago, which I'm not really gonna get into. At least here in the EN side of the things and of my own personal recent memory. So suffice to say, Brave is significantly less popular and probably not that profitable compared to Hollow or Niji, but they're still like the biggest third corpo in the world. They have different managers from their JP and EN branch, but I can feel at the very least the EN side of Brave cares enough. Yeah. They own Vispo, which had a successful launch into the EN market and is their biggest asset. And the rest of the other VTuber agencies, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know how they're doing or how their members of those or how the members of those agencies feel, but that's enough about Brave Group because the main point of this video is Idol Corp themselves. So, Idol Corp posted this announcement a couple hours ago, essentially saying that they're being acquired by Brave Group, and saying that this will help them run things more efficiently. They're going to fix all past issues that ran amok in Idol. They will still be fixing a lot of their merch issues. I personally didn't order any merch, but there's a lot of discussion around Twitter and Reddit that their merch has been sent out for an entire year and still hasn't reached a lot of people, which I think is bad, by the way. Apparently, the only merch that was only being shipped properly was the ones that Brave managed. Now, the interesting part here is that the talents have the option to leave and become indie or proceed with Brave Group, which I think is interesting. I do wonder who is going to remain and who is going to leave. So there will be announcements of who will and who won't in the next few days, and I can feel the other small corpos just waiting to rush down and poach those talents because that's where the small corpo industry is at these days. And I'm gonna be real, it's 100% because Idol ran out of resources. Because they had to do this because I think a lot of problems that Idol has been facing as of late all make sense if we look at it from the perspective, from the lens that they ran out of money. Um, let's see. They had that one drama that, as of recent times, that they couldn't pay artists in time. Although that can be chalked up to all sorts of problems, negative cash flow is its prime suspect. Merch, although that would have been big for VTuber companies, have not been properly established until Brave came in, so they couldn't really take advantage of that. And now, while I don't have their numbers, I think they don't have enough talents and revenue streams to continue sustaining themselves with the quality that they produce and for their marketing. Because, brother, Idol does actually have good shit. They have a lot of high effort and well known artists and riggers and expensive assets given to their models. They have a lot of really good editors and contractors that I assume cost a lot of money too. They have, as well as have like big marketing dynamics in the past where they essentially pay a shit ton of money for people to do watch alongs, video integrations, all sorts of shit. So make no mistake, I think at the end of the day, despite the poor experiences that ex members may have within Idol, from the outside looking in, I can see that they actually do really well for their talents, at least from the outside looking in. Yeah. Oh, and they're also based in Israel, and Israel is involved in a bit of a pickle right now, as we already know. Anyway, an ex talent had this to say about it, and it's not all good things that she has to say. Teehee. Anyway, this essentially says that she's been enduring a lot of slander behind the scenes, getting shit talk, probably getting blacklisted from a few collabs and spaces. She claims that she was the one who paid for her second model, which I think is kind of bad. Yeah, why would you do that? Yeah, saying her first model was rushed, and which I think explains why she felt the right to get out shortly after her re-debut. She said her donathon funds were being held from her, causing her to get stressed out, and the talks about it only pissing her off, saying that she felt disrespected the way her stuff was handled. She said that her donathon payouts were not paid in full because Idol took a cut. Yeah, so not everybody has a good experience with Idol, both talents and freelancers and people working with them, which is normal for other VTuber companies. Well, a lot of other VTuber companies. I mean, like a few other VTuber companies probably just hasn't talked about their experience. But for Idol, it's been rocky lately. Yeah. Now, anyway, Aviel did post this, which is him saying that he's stepping down. Aviel's graduating, chat. I don't know if he's gonna be a board director of sorts in Brave, which I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna rat with you. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think Aviel is going to be an important key figure in Brave Group regarding this one transition, but maybe he's just here to cash out. I have no idea. But yeah, despite your shortcomings, Aviel, I think a lot of us can agree that he might not have made the best decisions. I think he made a generally positive impact in the industry. But Lusagi, you absolute drama whore, what is the decisions that you are talking about? Well, I'm mostly going to talk about the PR stuff that he did for Idol that didn't really work as much as he thought it would. Idol essentially went super ham on PR to a point that, to me personally, sometimes some of those things came off as a bit weird and even slimy. Like, they took advantage of the Nijisanji PR disaster, making a whole song and dance about how their contracts were going to be revised and how it's going to be better. They really banked on how they were going to be this. They made this whole song and dance about how they're going to be this transparent site of an agency that won't hide important stuff and is challenging every single agency out there to do the same thing. And brother, no agency did it aside from a few small ones like Pixel Inc. They showed a talent cut, which I think is good because they basically take 60% of the talent, so it's a 15% being reinvested for their projects. Yeah. Which I think that's a pretty good thing. I think in this specific instance, they're treating their talents pretty well, better than most VTuber agencies even. But again, I think it kind of contributes and explains a little bit as to why they might have a negative cash flow for the upkeep and staff and freelancers that they have to pay for a monthly basis. Yeah. But the one thing that me personally, I was really hoping to see was their contracts. Because as you can see here, brother, they said that they were going to make talent contracts transparent by the end of 2023. It's halfway in 2024, and that's not been happening. Yeah. Because, I think they got carried away. They got too high off of the idea of being transparent VTuber agency that may change the landscape. You can't fucking show these contracts to the public, brother. Whether or not they didn't do it out of legal obligations or legal reasons, or that it wasn't as good as they thought it would be, I have no idea. I have talked a little bit about their little PR attempt from a while ago. I talked about this in a previous stream, and here's a little clip of what I thought about all of this. Look, here's the thing. People want transparency, but you should really only be transparent in situations and in places and in occasions and in matters that needs a little bit of transparency, right? You can't fucking tell people actual like dangerous internal processes. You can't fucking promise people that you're gonna show them their contracts and everything. You literally can't. Yeah, you literally can't. That's just very bad from a business and from a business and from a PR perspective. Yeah, because like I don't know why a lot of fucking new VTuber agencies. It's not just Idol, by the way. I see this in a lot of other new VTuber agencies. They think that they want and need to be quote unquote transparent. They think they can fucking do better than, let's say, Hololive, Nijisanji, V Shoujo, right? They think they can, and because like they see a lot of the problems that these agencies have, think they've come up with all these sorts of new solutions, and then as time passes on and they're not making any money and they're getting bled dry, and they realize how actually fucking like dangerously saturated it is for a VTuber agency if they don't know what they're doing, and then boom, they just resort to the same things that they thought that they wouldn't do or they backpedal on the promises that they made. While doing Nijisanji isn't hard. I mean, chat, VTuber agencies just kind of default on everything Nijisanji does these days, or like whatever their contracts are. They do. Be transparent when it's needed. Exactly. And to be fair, it's not hard to have better conditions than Nijisanji. I think a lot of other VTuber companies are in a similar situation or in a similar environment as Nijisanji these days, but nobody just wants to admit it. Nobody just wants to admit it. I think a lot of other... I think the only circumstances where that doesn't exist is basically like V Shoujo or... Actually, yeah, probably just V Shoujo, because the management in V Shoujo doesn't restrict them of anything, doesn't tell them what to do and all these sorts of shit. It's much more common than you think, I think. Idol is struggling. That's what I think as well. That's what I think as well. Brother, when you're out there fucking bragging about how better you are than other agencies, that kind of screams insecurity to me. I don't know. Why default on Nijisanji? Because Nijisanji is the most successful business model in VTubing fucking ever. Fucking ever. The talents get to be the ones that reach out to the artists and to the everyone, so managers don't have to do that much. Everything is probably 50-50, not across the board, but like a lot of the major revenue streams are like 50-50. The working conditions, the working terms, those are literally built to fucking make the company as much money as possible. What fucking agency CEO wouldn't look at that and not copy it if it's working, right? Because chat, again, we complain and shit a lot about how we don't like Nijisanji's shit, right? About how they work. But how they work from a business standpoint is the most effective. That's the thing. That's why they're very successful. That's why they're the ones that make the most money in every VTuber, every VTuber agency in the entirety of its history. Seriously. The talents bring in the fans, not the company. Why do you think the other girls left? You would be right. But if you make the top talents happy, who cares about what the smaller talents feel and do, right? Look, from a company perspective, it makes sense to prioritize the ones earning a million bucks like a year than the ones that's getting like 50,000 bucks a year. It makes the most sense. And any fucking agency who claims they don't have that is lying. Because in some way, shape, or form, favoritism will always fucking exist. How that favoritism manifests is my problem. Because if that fucking favoritism manifests in ways of fucking talents robbed of opportunities that they deserve or almost fucking killing themselves or whatever, now that's where I have fucking issues with. I'm not saying this as I'm just not saying this about Idol, but I feel like this applies to every fucking agency in the future and in the present, in any other company that's gonna say it as well. No agency will always be transparent. That's a buzzword. That's like, I think that's virtue signaling. And companies are incentivized to virtue signal, that's the thing. Because again, this is an industry where goodwill is probably like one of the most important resources a VTuber agency can get. And any VTuber can get, honestly. Like in fucking Twitch, bro, companies can be, not Twitch, but like in any other places, in any other entertainment spaces, a company, if they're small, or if they're relatively like medium, I suppose would be what you would call it. If they fucking get shit, like a lot of big epic shit, nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. VTuber agencies, no man, you need to fucking please the fans. Again, the fans are where your fucking cash flow comes from. You run out of goodwill, you run out of money, you run out of talents. That's just how it works. Yeah. So yeah, anyway, that's really all I wanted to say. I hope Brave Group's acquisition of Idol will end up being the best decision for them. I hope nothing but for the best for the talents going forward. And that's really going to be it. See ya.